the movie, right? Yeah. Pretty fun sneak peek, but that's not the only fun we have for you all tonight. So first, thank you all for being here. Thank you for everyone who's watching around the country at various Cinemark locations. I am Terry Schwartz, and I am so thrilled to be having some guests very shortly, but not right this second. The Gray Man is a brand new movie, as you know, from the Russo Brothers that is going to be released in theaters first, starting tomorrow. So again, a sneak peek that you all got, and then in Netflix starting next week. So in just a second, they clearly sent me out just a second too early. We're going to have some very special guests filling this out here. The fight scene, but you also have a crazy fight scene where Ryan Gosling is chained to a bench. I heard the fountain too, right? The final fight.
When they fly out of the plane.
Oh yeah, and the plane. Okay, we're gonna talk about all these. I'm so glad that you guys have seen it. But I think we're ready. I think we're ready for our guests, maybe. I'm seeing nods. Okay, all right. Great vamping, everyone. You're an excellent audience. But that's not who you're here to see tonight. Let's welcome the amazing cast of the movie. So first up, our lone wolf, Dhanush. Wonderful. Or you're having a little chat. We were talking about the movie. We've all chatted a bit this week, but this is the first time we've had an audience that's seen the movie. So this is very exciting. They're all very hyped right now. And we were talking about our favorite action scenes. Yeah. Which is how we're gonna set up this Q&A. Joe and Anthony, let's start with you guys. The action in this movie is insane, to say the least. But the action is not just crazy action scenes, it's action as storytelling. So please talk to us all about how you developed this movie to ramp up from Bangkok through to the castle at the end and use these action set pieces to develop your characters.
Well...
No pressure, easy one.
Is that big freedom?
You have any questions about pizza?
Yeah, let's start with you guys.
Question.
What's your favorite pizza?
Yeah, well, it's pepperoni. I mean, it's not.
Anyone else? Pepperoni?
Pepperoni.
Hold on, into the mic. All the people around the country so they can hear.
We only hire people who eat pepperoni pizza. That's it.
I'm vegetarian. But, well, look, there's many ways we can approach this question. Like, one example I will run to is just like this idea, you remember the scene in the square in Prague where Ryan is chained to the bench. So,
Ryan's like, what scene?
I mean, a lot of the times we think about, like, well, how do you explore character? How do you make a character vulnerable? How do you put a character in the most challenging situation possible? And there was, that scene was, I remember when we were developing the character, thinking about it, that scene was really pivotal in the idea that the Gray Man, here's a character who lives in the gray, who hides in the shadows, who knows how to disappear, knows how to not be seen, knows how to get in and get out and make it quick and clean. And here's a moment where that character is chained to a bench in the middle of a busy city square with all the police looking at him, tourists looking at him, and a gang of assassins converging on him. So it's sort of this moment where it's the opposite of what the Gray Man how the Gray Man wants to function. And then, that's sort of like, I think that's a good example of like how we sort of build things around character.
for questions now. Like, I have questions about this movie, but now I want to ask what everyone's like favorite color Skittle to eat.
Ice cream?
Or something. Yeah, ice cream, whatever we want. But we'll come back to these. We'll come back to these. I did want to ask, so again, everyone just saw the movie and are all riding high from it. I wanted to ask everyone in the cast what your favorite action scene to film was, because you all got such a dope, badass scene. So, Ryan, you're closest to me, so I was going to put you on the spot, and then we can run down the line. Do you have a favorite movie action scene in the movie? We were shouting out ours beforehand.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but the hospital scene, because it almost put Dhanush and Anna and I in the hospital. But, you know, we're very lucky to have Dhanush in this movie. And it was an honor to work with him, and that was my only scene that we got to do together, so I'll pick that one, because that was my shot.
Well, I'll say my final fight scene with Ryan. To be honest, most of the movie I don't have that many action sequences, and if I do, they're brief. So the one with Ryan and I in the fountain, it was long, it was demanding, and I've never fought in the fountain before, so it was nice to add that to the resume.
How about you, Anna?
I was gonna say the hospital scene too, but I also have another scene with Dhanush, which is at the end of the movie, and I love that scene because these two characters are really going for it. Like one of them is not gonna make it out, and that intensity and like that, life or death, thing was really cool. I also have 4 rapes out of place then, and it took us like a week to shoot that, and it was very challenging, but it looks really strong. I loved it.
I know for the rest of our cast, we have like badass scenes, right? Do you have a favorite badass scene for Fitz, Billy? I mean, there's a certain nail care scene that I know you.
Well, I was going to say probably the manicure.
That's what I would have said. I didn't know if it qualified as action.
Yeah, I mean, that was. I consider that action.
I hated it.
Yeah, it was not fun since I am a method actor, and I told Kristen to go out.
They look great now. Excellent regrowing. Excellent cuticle hair. Jessica, did you have a favorite badass scene for Suzanne?
I mean, does it count as an action scene when I'm dodging his coffee cup? Because he threw a lot of coffee at me and I did get some on my face.
Between takes.
So, Regé, you got anything to say to that?
Similarly, most people don't realize I do actually throw 2 punches in this film, both of which are in the bathroom after I force Suzanne to listen to me shit. So kind of as power plays go, I think that's one of the more powerful ones in the movie, and I'm gonna flag that one.
I think you and I have the biggest action scenes in the movie, honestly.
Julia, did you have a favorite badass scene for Claire?
I love the flare gun, the Claire gun, if you will. But I love the manicure scene. Chris is very talented. I want my nails done next, but not in the same way. I'd like to keep mine. I really enjoyed. I mean, this sounds awful, but I really enjoyed the one where the separation between Claire and Fitz. And the separation between Claire, I'm just listing all my scenes.
Every scene was bad.
Every scene, oh, thanks. But I really enjoyed the emotional stuff because I learned a lot from it, and I learned that I can channel such an emotional part of myself that for so long, I mean, filming the fountain sequence was, I'm gonna list that one as my #1 favorite because we filmed that for how long? Oh, like a week? A week straight, and all of it was being soaking wet, crying the whole time for me, the entire time, not a moment of breath for Claire in that, literally, physically. But I really enjoyed that one because it was a challenge, and I got to spend it with Ryan and Chris, and I thought that was great.
Both of your dope fight scenes already have been mentioned by your co-stars. Now you have to pick your favorite. Which one did you like best?
Good evening, everybody. Honestly, I can pick. I really can pick. And two of them, and both were really tough, good ones, very tough. But my favorite stunt sequence is the whole Prague chase sequence. It was breathtaking. I forgot to breathe when I was watching. I was like, oh, it was amazing. And like, how do they do it? How do they make this? It's fantastic. But I would like to take this opportunity to thank Ryan for his kindness towards me throughout filming this. The stunt sequence. Ryan was very kind to me, very welcoming. He would often come up to me and inquire about me, my family, and up until now, he's been very, very kind. I'm coming from a different, world, and coming here all the way. It's important to feel welcomed, and. My sons love him too now. Yeah, so. Oh, thank you. Indians must be. Yeah, kindness goes a long way, and it's amazing. Thank you, Ryan, for that, and thanks, Anna, for all your cooperation and for being patient and everything. Thank you so much, and of course, I would like to thank the Russos for casting me and believing in me.
I don't even know how to follow that. That was that. I wanted to ask you guys, though, hearing a recap of all the amazing fight scenes in the movie, was there one in particular that was the most challenging to choreograph?
Well, certainly the Prague sequence. That was a very difficult sequence to shoot. We prepped it for about a year. We shot it for 6 weeks. We're iterative when we're doing action, meaning we will shoot 2 or 3 days worth of action. We'll go to the edit room. We'll watch how it's cut together. We'll come up with some new ideas. We might ask these guys to train for 2 months, learning choreography, and then come up with a different idea on set throughout the 2 months choreography. So it's
Chris is dying right now. What are you referring to?
It's not easy working with us in that regard. And they were all very gracious and worked incredibly hard. No one ever complained. But Prague, top to bottom, I think you could attest to that. That was a really tough one. And we ended it. We ended the movie shooting the sequence where Ryan is running down the trains, and we actually put Ryan on trains with hydraulics. So as he leapt from one car to the next, the previous car would collapse sideways, and he was 15 feet in the air. But we made sure that we saved that for the very last day in case something went wrong.
Relieved to find that out now. I wanted to talk about the Prague sequence, though, with you, Ryan, because choreographing a fight scene already challenging, but you have the added element of you're chained to a bench the entire time. So can you talk about kind of what went into, obviously there's a lot more to the sequence than that, but I was curious about kind of the choreography and prep that went into shooting that element.
Well, I'm probably the least interesting guy to ask that to because I was chained to a bench the whole time. But I do remember a funny moment where things were exploding and it was crazy, and my cell phone started to ring, and I with my free hand kind of fished it out behind the bench, and it was my kids were in a hotel nearby. And it was Ava asking how long the explosions were going to go on because the girls had a Zoom on a piano class Zoom.
She's like, honey, can you get the shot already?
Yeah. Just the girls got a Zoom and it's really loud. And I also remember that the Russos built a town square, not just they weren't out there physically. But you know, well, the larger lesson for me was just how many people it takes to make a film like this. How many, you know, like it takes a village to make, you know, The Gray Man. Just so many people, so much. Like it feels like what it must go into, like the Super Bowl before the players ever step on the field. Just an incredible amount of work. But one thing that kind of blew my mind is that they built a town square within a town square, so that no town squares were harmed.
It's very careful. You guys learned from Cleveland as we were.
We did. It's tough when you go into a town where you're doing work like that, and it's going to be loud and, you know, disrupt Zoom piano lessons. So you want to be as respectful as you can. We did everything you see, that fountain, that, you know, the bench that Ryan is handcuffed to, the stairs, the fountain, everything. None of it really exists. It's just a grass square. So we had to build all of that because we were going to be driving a van up it and crashing it into it, and, you know. So we did preserve the sanctity of Prague.
Chris has a line in the at the chateau during the firefight where he says, "You're making me destroy a historic building here," and that was, of course, our greatest fear. You know, so.
Best line of the movie. There you go. Chris, I want to talk about Lloyd because it's funny you mentioned he doesn't have that many fight sequences because he's so brutal as he's so casual in the movie. He's like always kind of this on edge, antagonistic presence, even when he's just standing there talking to a screen. So can you talk about developing the physicality for the character?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the physicality is one of the big, you know, trademarks of the character. That he's incredible comfort in his own body, and those characters who are almost, you're more scared of their smile than their scowl. They're so comfortable, it puts you on edge. And I stole from tons of actors. I took a lot of great things from a lot of people that I respect, but there was one moment, and I will mention this because I'm not going to tell you all the things I stole from, because it hollows out the choices, but there was one, I don't know if anyone's seen Tombstone. Val Kilmer is so good, and he holds a gun in a certain way, and there's a scene where I kind of come in and I kill someone before Ryan.
I thought I recognized that.
You know, he has one arm behind his back, and he's got the gun kind of poised right there, and I just ripped that right off. So, yeah, a little nod to Doc Holliday for that one.
I know we've talked a bit about the fight between your characters at the end of the movie at the castle, but it's one of my favorites because you're both so evenly matched, and there are like a couple fights like that at the end of the movie where it could be one person wins or the other, but you both just kind of choose to walk away, and I think it's just such a badass sequence. Can you talk about the choreography of doing that? Because you guys said, we chatted a little yesterday, that it got pretty intense when you were filming that sequence, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the choreography, I mean, cables going over your throat, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
No, with me.
I'm just kidding.
A gentleman, yeah.
Yeah, it looked very dangerous, and of course, they take all the safety precautions and everything. They train you, they prepare you, they make sure you're doing it right, but still it looked pretty dangerous. And if I'm not wrong, Anna had some injury already, and she was really struggling. But I was happy because that kind of brought down her speed. And I felt safe. Jokes apart, she went through it and she kind of pulled it off. It was an amazing sequence. It looked very fast. When I was watching it yesterday, I felt like, okay, did we actually do it that fast? It was very fast, very quick. And I think me and Anna, we both can be really proud that we pulled it off. I think so.
You just had a year of like the coolest action sequences. Do you like this kind of physical action heavy role for your characters? You've done it all.
Do I like it? I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I don't feel like I'm doing a great job when I'm doing it. Then I watch it and it works. We pull it off. But on the spot, I feel like not amount of training will make me feel confident enough to look, you know, strong and that I know what I'm doing. But it's fun, but it's fun.
I think we need to like rewind the movie and play it back and make her watch it again because it looks amazing. You look awesome.
Thank you.
And I have to say, she approaches it like she loves it. She works at it so hard. I mean, your training was like so intense.
Yeah, I did love the process because I just didn't know, you know, I discovered so many talents that I have, you know, like in the sense of like fighting and how my body moves and shooting guns and like, you know, aiming and hitting stuff. And, you know, it's a lot of fun like to discover that about yourself. And yeah, I have to like, I mean, between all the preparation and then shooting, we were doing this for like 7-8 months. So you have to like it. You have to, you know, lean into it.
Well, as I said, it came out looking absolutely awesome. Billy, you have had just an amazing career, amazing span of about what appeals to you about this movie and his character.
Well, actually, when I was offered this part, I knew of the Russo Brothers and their great work, and I thought, well, I'm honored to be asked to be in one of their movies, first of all. And then Ryan and I had known each other a little bit, you know, years and years ago, when he was like, what were you, like 4? And I love Ryan, and I knew about Chris. You know, I'd seen him before, and I thought, you know, he's a rascal. I want to work with him. And so, I mean, the whole package was really great. I knew the cast they were assembling, and when I read the script, I thought, I mean, to tell you the truth, what really appealed to me, other than the amazing people who are in it and who are making it, was the fact that I got to play a character that was sort of the heart and soul of the scenes that the character was in, you know. And as a parent, I loved playing the protector of my niece, this little rascal right here, Julia, and which came very easy for me. And it was also a challenge to balance being an actual CIA person who has to make life and death decisions, sometimes no matter who you love, and at the same time, you know, you're a human being. So, and it's a tough part to play, but I was amazing.
Yes, you were.
No, I did not. Honestly, that's not true. I just did what they put in the script, and I did the part because. Honestly, I can't take credit for anything I did in this movie. It was all the Russo brothers and this amazing cast, and I just was happy to be a part of it, honestly.
We were talking about how Dhanush and Anna were so well matched. One of my favorite things about the end of this movie, and again, we can talk spoilers because you've all seen it, is that when it comes to the fight between Lloyd and Six, there's no winner until Suzanne shows up and shoots Lloyd. I love that they're so evenly matched, but then she shows up and she's kind of like the ultimate dominating force. And we get a little bit of her complicated history between Denny and Lloyd and herself. So looking at this movie as a whole, would you consider her to be more of a heroic or villainous character?
Oh, I mean, because I played her, I have to say that I don't see her as a villain, but I think that what really attracted me to the role was how flawed she is. She's set up to be a victim. You know, we're seeing her constantly undermined, and you think, oh, we're supposed to feel bad for her. And then slowly as the film goes on, you go, and bullied people become bullies. Like, she is surrounded by toxicity at all times, and I think it's quite a natural progression for her. But if we were so lucky as to move forward with the character in the next one, I do feel that she is a villain.
What do you guys think? Is she a villain?
Okay.
Decisive.
Okay. Answer changed for future Q&As.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is at the end when she's talking to Denny and saying, like, yeah, nobody better underestimate me. But Regé, we have to talk about Denny Carmichael, because what a fun character. You contain multitudes, that you can go from the most swoon-worthy to the most despicable in a matter of roles. Talk about your inspiration for this character and what you wanted to bring to it.
My inspiration was entirely Jessica Henwick, just villain coming after all that.
Wow.
No, I mean, honestly, it was actually a little bit. It was reading through what your character says about our history and about this kind of weird bromance between Lloyd and Denny, and kind of figuring out who does this and why do these guys get on and what is that kind of common thread of villainy. And also speaking to our guy in the CIA, who shall remain unnamed. But it was discovering that there's a lot of experience. Like, these guys are way too young to be wielding this much power unless they are insanely focused to the point of absolute sociopathy. And so it's kind of building all of that together, and then just kind of thinking about like classic villains and like stealing from like Richard III and Iago, just people who enjoy being bad and sharing that with the audience, and then just channeling all of that into throwing a coffee cup.
Dramatic, excellent bathroom sequences. Great work, you guys. Great work. Now, Julia, you are just so fantastic in this movie. You hold your own against all these amazing scene partners. And you've talked a bit about how you love observing and pulling things from your various acting partners as well. So can you talk about some of your favorite moments that you took away from filming the movie?
I really enjoyed observing. I was a little too shy to ask for advice necessarily, but I definitely would watch. I would watch Ryan just put in so much work into what he was doing, and I just really want to thank you for putting so much into 6, and because he went really hardcore with staying in it, still being open to chatting, but still keeping in character. I really appreciated how incredibly hard he trained for this role. Everyone but I was there for when Ryan was playing 6, so I learned a lot about staying in character and putting so much work into who you're playing and really putting yourself in their shoes. And that's how I learned a lot more about how to become emotional in a scene, because you put my ways that I put myself into my character's shoes, and I think her thoughts, and I try to imagine the world as she sees it, and I've got to give it to Ryan for that, so thank you.
I heard a rumor that you do an amazing impression of your other scene partner, Mr. Billy Bob Thornton. Would you?
Oh, geez.
Okay, well, here's how to do it now. So you kind of, you start going down into the depths of your speaking necessarily. You kind of, you breathe through your talking, and when you do the B's, you gotta kind of and I'll tell you right now, folks, when you do the WH's with the when and where and why, you gotta really bring it down. And gee, I mean, that's pretty much it.
I don't sound like that at all. I don't say what, when, and while.
Billy, will you do Julia now?
Yes, please.
Are you kidding me? There's nowhere in the world I could do Julia. No, I don't know. I don't do impressions at all. I mean, I'm really horrible at it. I can do a little bit of Robert Duvall, and that's it.
Well, that was better than I could have dreamed of. So thank you for indulging me. And a perfect segue that I completely set up for myself. For our directors and writer, talk to me a bit about the comedy in this movie, because it wouldn't be a Russo Brothers movie without amazing comedy. How much of that was in the script, and how much of that did you allow your cast to improvise or kind of bring to the characters as you were making the movie?
Well, humor is incredibly important to us. It's hard for us to take anything that seriously. I mean, you look back at our resume and from Arrested Development to Community, I think you can see shades of both of those in just about everything we do.
Paintball scene, come on,
yeah.
Community.
And so, we like smashing genre into unique tone. This is reminiscent in a lot of ways, or evocative as film fans. We loved movies growing up, so we try to create similar experiences for audiences that we had when we watched Die Hard or Lethal Weapon, or films that embraced humor and action. But we also have an organic process in the way that we work. We love, everyone up here is not only the best in the world at what they do, but incredible storytellers. And we love actors. They know their characters better than we ever will. They put so much thought and energy and time into it. So we appreciate feedback, we appreciate ideas, and Ryan is responsible for at least half of the funniest shit that he says in the movie. Incredible improvising and understanding quirk, and really created a character that was sardonic and really has this terrible upbringing, and then gets conscripted by the CIA and is abused by the CIA, but still has a gallows humor about everything, and that was incredibly important to the film, and he was a great guide in that respect, in helping us find the right tone for the movie. Everyone was. I mean, everyone contributed lines and ideas all over the film, so we're facile that way, and to us, and ultimately it just ends up making a better story.
You all have such chewy, delicious dialogue in this movie. I prepped everyone beforehand, so hopefully you have a line, but I want to go down the line and start with Ryan. Is there one line of dialogue, either in the script or that you brought to the movie, that was your absolute favorite?
It's hard to choose. Can I pick one for everyone?
Please, yes.
Because I love because a hero is only as good as the villain. And I knew that when I saw Chris show up on set with the trash stash and white pants, I saw him limping away anyway because I got shot in the ass, Suzanne. I knew we were in good shape. And I thought our stuff, with how unsafe it was to throw a loaded weapon. I also like when you say get out of my personal space. Billy Bob, I like when Billy Bob said, I'm gonna take the stairs. I think you improvised that.
You did.
Such a great line. Jessica, I don't know what you say to that guy in the bathroom when you won't let him come in, but it's hilarious. What do you say?
Oh shit, what was his name? Oh, it was just some innocent extra who walked in and I just went, no, Matthew! Poor guy.
I love when Regé returns the personal space line. Julia improvised one of her best lines, which is that line at the end of the movie. And then when Dhanush says, these people are not honorable, I think the funniest line in the movie is the understatement of the century. So there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to talk for everyone. No, I just want to say my thing. No, you gotta go.
Now everyone has to do everyone, no pressure.
I really thought that was going to get us off the hook. I'll throw the ball back to Ryan. It's a shame that this is an action movie, and oftentimes with action movies you don't do those kind of outtake reels during the credits. But that scene where I first interact with Ryan and he says, "Oh, you must be Lloyd," and I say, "What gave it away?" Can we get just a reel of the responses that Ryan had to me?
He had like 7 to 8 responses.
It was different, and they were just, it was a shame. At the end of the day, I was like, I don't know how you're going to choose one. It's really a crime that these won't all make the movie, because each one was funnier than the last, man. Those are my favorite.
Time to think of one. Anna, you are next. And you can pick other characters' lines if you would like to. I like
Well, I like when I tell Ryan that you look like shit. Yeah, I thought that was such a cool scene.
Love that too. Yeah, that's my favorite too.
Started with that. You were very comfortable that day.
How about you, Billy?
Well, I had a really, really funny, like 3.5-page monologue that they cut out of the movie. And that was my favorite, but I have to say second, when Lloyd is there with me and I'm very seriously injured, and I'm getting Julia the heck out of there, and I've got the grenade, and I have the pen in my mouth, and I repeat his own thing back to him. I thought that was kind of cute.
I have to reiterate, I didn't know that was improvisation about the loaded gun. It's so good. That was totally off the cuff.
That was written.
Oh.
No, it was written that night, if I remember correctly. I think we were just sitting around improvising with each other, and we wrote it down.
Oh yeah, right.
And then the callbacks continued to grow as we went.
That's my favorite. It's so good.
Yeah, we did improvise that, and then at the end you said, "I'm gonna bleed to death." We kept arguing about this, and then I was laughing so hard, I just got in the car.
I also did like when I'm having my monologue at the end and you just started raising your hand. And I thought I have to acknowledge this. I was like, what, do you have a fucking question?
I got a big laugh last night.
You did? Oh, good.
It's very fun. How about you, Regé?
Actually, I was just thinking of what Chris was saying about how in control Lloyd is, and so I adore when he kind of secretly is out of control, because that's when you know you're actually getting to him. It's when he decides to beat up on 2 guys who are already dead. Unloading the weapons. He can say, "Idiots!" It's a beautiful touch. Also, because she's too humble to do it herself, I promised Julia that I'd reference the Kick-His Ass 6, which, I don't know if people know this, it was improvised and forced the guys to reshoot the entire scene because it was such a good improvisation so they could cover it properly.
Yeah, she initially did it off camera, and then we had already shot her close up, and we went, "God damn it, we got it."
That's talent.
Are you gonna ask me or am I gonna have
Well, I mean, I can keep talking you while you're
that
still
way. I mean,
saying,
like, am I off the hook?
No. You both still
Remember I
gotta
just
go.
said you were humble?
I'll pay you.
But you can pick someone else's if you don't feel like you have.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. Well, I love the. I don't know if this counts as one line. I mean, I just love the. You know what makes me sad? Your small hands. No one said that. It's so funny. I love that.
Who likes cats?
Okay, not that one because I like cats. So I'm with you, Billy. Yeah, that was a big fuss between me and Chris on set, actually. We were like dogs versus cats. Yeah, exactly. Well, I love. After meeting Dodger the dog. I mean, I just. But I really love the because I got shot in the ass as him, and that's a great one. But your small hands seem to have taken the cake.
All right, Dhanush, and you are not getting off the hook. I will call you up. What was your favorite funny line?
Mine would be when Ryan says at the end, "It's just another Thursday."
Yes. Oh my God. Just another Thursday where we're all here hanging out. I want to ask Chris and Ryan. I mean, and it's funny. scene, the trash stash, the white pants, that was all improvised. You two are so funny when you're like slinging just, again, these insults to each other's face. Who broke character the most in those scenes? Or were you both completely method?
I think either one of us really broke it. Probably me. Because every few minutes I'd have to ask Chris what the fight choreography was. Because it took me, it was so hard for me to remember, and Chris seems to have some kind of like photographic fight memory, where he could just walk in and see it once and then he's got it. So I was,
a while.
They might have had
I would lean in and go, is it a block or a punch? Or
I also wanted to ask, you guys have a really cool story about the Berlin scene in the car where Ryan and Anna had a very fun improvised line, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Maybe?
Oh, about his ego being bruised.
Yeah, can you tell the story for that? I mean,
Oh yeah, do you want to tell it, Ryan?
I've told it already.
Okay, apparently Ryan told me this story a couple days ago, and I don't remember it happening, but will trust that it did.
You want to do it in like a Ryan?
You don't remember this?
I don't remember it happening.
Well, let's not tell it then. And I saw her going like this, and I told you privately at dinner.
Okay, then if we're getting wrapped up, then I'll give us another last question for you guys. Okay, because the one-liners was a high point to go out on. Every character has such both an amazing badass and comedic moment in this movie. Can you talk a bit about your amazing ensemble and how you really worked in having a moment for each of them to shine and what you wanted to leave? Basically, just an excuse to compliment how great they are. A nice way to wrap up.
Yeah. Look, Joe and I have always loved ensemble storytelling. I don't know why. Sometimes we say it's because we grew up in a large, extended Italian-American family, and we're just used to sort of getting together and telling stories and understanding how sort of the family narrative kind of morphs from one person to another. But if you look at our work from the very beginning, we're always working with ensembles. And I think one thing we like about it is, when we're crafting a narrative with an ensemble, we really sort of take time and step through the script and think about the storytelling from every single character's point of view. We'll sort of take the opportunity to just frame the entire narrative as if it's this person's story, as if it's that person's story, and just really sort of think about who these people are and how do we fill them out the most. And look, we love to continue that process, once the actors start to become involved, and it's very, all of them, they're so, I know Joe was saying this earlier, but it's just, they're all filmmakers. So to be able to sit down and collaborate with them on their characters and build their characters out and discover things that we had never even thought of. I mean, that's one of the greatest parts of the process for us, and it certainly makes the movie exponentially richer and better and more exciting, I think, for all of us. I'll let Joe go into individual props.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go down the line and talk about what I like about each of them. And your lineup. It was interesting. We took a cast photo yesterday, I think it was. I don't know, it all feels like it's been years. And we've taken a lot of cast photos in our life. But I remember looking around during that cast photo and going, man, this is a great cast. And I was so impressed. It's like being 19 again, you step outside of yourself and you're sitting in a theater, being a fan. And I had that moment, I had sort of an out-of-body moment, just looking at the cast going, we're just so fortunate, so lucky that we were able to get all these people to say yes. And so we're very grateful to all of you for going on this journey with us and enduring incredible amounts of pain and physical suffering to make a story for people. So hopefully you all enjoyed it. And, as well. Like I said, we were you, and now we're up here trying to give you great experiences that with your friends and your family, and hopefully if everybody likes this, we'll come back and tell a few more of these stories.
Netflix next week on July 22nd. Let's give this amazing